Teofimo Lopez goes on his social media and he puts up 816, wears the PBC hat, and everybody loses their mind. And I don't know why people thought that Teofimo Lopez meant that Teofimo Lopez was gonna fight Tank Davis on the 16th. That only meant one or two things. He signed with PBC and he's gonna take on the winner of Tank versus Lamont Roach. That's it. That doesn't mean anything else. Because that fight already with Lamont Roach is already, people say it hasn't been announced officially, but yeah, it's been known. That's the next fight. That's the next logical fight. There's no bigger fight for Tank to do other than a Teofimo Lopez, right? That would have been a fight that would have been bigger than Roach if he had not gone for the rematch right away. But that was not on the table at the time, so the rematch was, and that's the biggest money fight that Tank has to do. So it only makes sense. Teofimo has really kind of burned bridges everywhere else. He's, he has like a sucky deal. Like his deal isn't even that good. Like for instance, he's a free agent, but he still owes back end money to Top Rank. So every time he goes anywhere and negotiates any fight, which he's free to do, he still has to pony up to Top Rank. How do we negotiate? Like how do we get there? That's neither here nor there. But again, understand that that's what that meant. It didn't mean anything other than. It never did. It never meant that he was gonna go and fight Tank right away. So everybody just started going and assuming that, oh, Teo is gonna fight, Tank. But if you read this right here, this was a day ago, they finally got it right, which is like, they talk about the last week 2 fighters had to be on the verge of a fight at a 145 pound catch, which mind you, 145 catch weight. Why is Devin Haney negotiating 145 catch weight? So you're bringing up Teo, but you don't want to go to 147, so you're keeping yourself down. So you're bringing him up, bringing yourself up, but you don't want to go all the way to 147. But you don't want to meet him at 140 either. Like that, I don't understand that. You know what I mean? Like I don't get why he would do that. Like that makes absolutely no sense. Like, but anyway, so he took to social media, blah blah blah. But both men now searching for different opponents. Lopez has named who he wants to take on, and he's looking for the winner of the upcoming rematch between Gervonta Tank Davis and Lamont Roach on August 16th. Right, that's when it's happening. And it's not set in stone yet that Lamont Roach loses to Tank Davis. If that was the best Tank Davis or close to it, and that was close to Lamont Roach or the best or close to it that we saw in the first fight, that doesn't mean that it's an easy layup for Tank coming up. He could very well lose a decision to Lamont Roach. And the bigger fight would be Lamont Roach and Teofimo, because that's the man who beat the man. Like that's the guy, right? Just because we didn't know him coming up, like on screen all the time doesn't mean that's not the fight. That is the fight. So, but that's what that really means. And I'm glad that the outlets are picking that up, because at the end of the day, I'd rather see Tank Davis versus Teofimo. For one, it'll be at 140. And all the Tank's fanboys are always saying he's too small for 140. But here we are. If Teofimo's not going down to 135, trust me, there's no way he's handicapping himself to go back to 135, and he's not given any sort of rehydration clause. So it'll be Tank Davis versus Teofimo, if that's the fight, at 140 with no rehydration clause. Now, that goes against everything that we ever heard about Tank not being able to move up to 140, because you're not going to go anywhere else. You're going to have to go to 140, because Teofimo is not going down to 135. That is detrimental. Once you're at 140 and Teo's, he's squared up, like his physique is squared up, he's not going to dehydrate himself right back down to 135. So it'll be interesting to see, really. I can't wait to see what happens in that Roach fight. I think Tank beats him. I think Tank catches him. I think Lamont Roach got a little bit sort of like disillusion with his punching power, or lack thereof. He said he's too small. He doesn't hit that hard because he's too small. I think he just had good defense and was able to absorb all of those shots. I think Lamont Roach just a little cocky, pause in the rematch. I think Tank catches him. I think the ref stops it. That's where I'm at with it. I think Tank takes that by technical knockout. And that's the fight I want to see. I want to see Teo versus Tank. I don't want to see really Roach. Even if he were to win against Tank, even though it's the best man versus the best man, I still wanted to see the spectacle of Tank versus Tio rather than the other side of it. You know what I'm saying? Because the build-up will be even better anyway. So for me, that's the best fight. But that's what that really meant. And like I said, for the past few days, I couldn't really do anything and get online and record anything. But that's really what I want to see. I want to see Tank versus Tio at 140, preferably for a title, and see if Tank can get another title at 140, and this time legitimately against a legit opponent at 140. Not that Mario Barrios wasn't, but he did give him a weight clause too, which a lot of people don't talk about, but he did put a weight clause on Mario Barrios. So, but let me know what you think down in the comments down below. What do you think? Do you think that that's the move? Do you think that it will be Tank versus Tio? Do you think Lamar Roach has no chance? Leave it in the comments.